Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is middle of the month for April Tarot Oracle reading. And Gemini, you are the star of this astrological insight. If sun sign is not in Gemini, we still all have a little bit of Gemini in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is Gemini in? That is where this energy shows up for you. If you're watching this video right now, it is a timely reading, so it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then, it could give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right. We're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and we have the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords has been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. She is done with any bullshit. She knows what she wants. Her head is out of the clouds. She has clarity, and she is willing to receive. She has her left hand out, but her right hand, she has her sword, and she's ready to use it. So if you come in and you want to engage with her, you better come in upright or off with your head. She won't have any problem whatsoever. She is done with bullshit. All right, she has learned the art of discernment. We have the next card up is the Eight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles is representing the internal forces. So internal forces come from inside you. You have control over your internal forces, unlike your external forces generally. And the internal forces are the what ifs. So it's when you would find yourself laying in bed and not able to sleep, asking, what if I do this and they do that? What if they do that and I have to do this? That kind of energy. It could keep you in a thinking loop for days and days. And so this energy is representing those what ifs, and this is representing someone that's hard at work, very focused on making money. Out of all the pentacle cards, first of all, the pentacles in the tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional plane, and the energy is out of all the pentacle cards, this is the only one where the person is actually working on the coin itself, and so they're actually pounding out a coin. So this is representing making money, and this person's very focused on making money, and the energy is either you've started a project, you're on the second pentacle and you have 6 to go, or you've completed 6 and you're on the 7th and you have the 8th to go. Now, you know, you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle you want. So the pentacles are actually more about lifestyle than they are about money. And so we'll see what's going on. It seems like your internal forces are very concerned with money and love. Okay, Gemini, let's cover all the bases here. So we have this energy of disappointment in love. The cups represent quite often romantic love, but they can represent love of all kinds, love of, you know, anyone in your family or your friends or your pets, whatever, you know, someone or something that you love. And also it could represent something that you love to do or be. So it could have to do with career or hobbies or something to do with that. This person is sitting under the tree because they're very disappointed in their love life. This energy can represent having had 3 different situations or relationships where it didn't work out now, and the universe is offering a 4th cup of love, and you're like, no way, I don't want another cup of love. If it's more of the same old shit that I've been through, I'm not interested. Now this energy, you know, if it's romantic love, it would have been relationships to do with love, but this could be career choices that, you know, that didn't work out, or it could be, you know, that kind of energy, something that you really wanted to do or be, and it just didn't work out. And this can also represent having given someone 3 chances and they're asking for a 4th chance, and you're like, no way, 3 strikes, you're out. I'm not, you're like, this is where the Queen of Swords comes in, and it's like, no way, I'm done. I'm not tolerating that shift from you. And so that, or it could represent that, you know, in a relationship where there was supposed to be a couple, there's a 3rd party. And worse than that, there could be that, well, a baby is always a gift, but there could be the most ultimate gift of all, which is a baby. But it would not be, it would be disappointing if it was not yours and you didn't know that there was this energy happening. So yeah, there's different reasons for the disappointment. But we have a new passion for discovery. This Ace of Wands is coming in a lot in the readings right now because it represents feeling passionate again. Like maybe having lost, you know, your mojo, and now you're like, hey, no, I'm like, the universe is saying, here's some passion for life. This is talking about starting a new project, or so that could mean that this is like the 2nd pentacle and you have 6 to go. If you're just starting a new project, or instilling more passion into something that you were doing so that you can finish it, which would be the opposite. And then we have, which will bring in ultimate fulfillment. Ultimate fulfillment in a perfectly imperfect world. So this is talking about like not the 10 of Cups. It's like the most amount of fulfillment that the tarot deck has. And this is like having the partner that you love and they love you, and the children, and you know, having a place where you love to live and you love your career, and the people that are in, you know, that your clients and the people you work with, everything is just hunky-dory in a perfectly imperfect world. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So if this is, because we're starting off with this disappointment and this hard work, and with this cold energy from the Queen, like of having been pissed off about something, then all of a sudden I feel like with this Ace that the Divine brings in, it's saying that this is coming. So, you know, hang in there because it's changing, because the Wheel of Fortune represents good fortune coming into your life, that if you've been through hardship, your life is going to start improving now. This is actually 3 wheels. It's the past, the present, and future coming together in one energy and synchronicity. And on one of these wheels is actually the Hebrew letters for the name of God, which is tetragrammaton. That is a sacred geometric symbol. And this energy is talking about the perfect order that God has created when He created the universe and the earth. And so this energy is talking about, you know, if things go into disorder, eventually they come back into order as we expand and contract and expand and contract. And this energy is talking about the perfection of that ratio, basically. And that ratio is the phi ratio. So in geometria, which is when they assign a number value to the letters, and they put them in different combinations, the combinations added for God's name added up very similar to the phi ratio. And the phi ratio is this perfect order. It's like nesting boxes that are in specific proportions to each other that create like a framework. And so, for example, in the golden spiral, the golden spiral can be seen in hurricanes and tornadoes. It can be seen in pineapples and pine cones, anything that's kind of in a spiraling motion, seashells, that kind of energy. And they all, it's like different size boxes in a certain particular ratio, which is 1.618, adding up to this similar, like, proportions to make up like the spirals. And then we also have the golden ratio, which is the same kind of energy, but it's talking more about like the proportions, let's say, of your face. So like from the hairline to the eyebrows, and then from the eyebrows down to the bottom of the nose, and the bottom of the nose to the chin. And then, you know, you can look at also like in a human body, like the size of the head, and then the upper body to the lower body, you know, your upper limbs to your lower limbs, to your hands, to your feet, to your fingers, to your toes. These are all very similar in all people, and add up to that same phi ratio that God's name does. So it's pretty amazing when you start to realize when you go out in nature, even the way the branches on the trees, they grow in a certain specific order in the same kind of ratio. And once you start to, like, once you learn more about it, when you go out in nature, you see it everywhere, and it's very comforting, especially when there's a lot of chaos happening in the world like there is now, to be able to go for a walk in nature and just see the perfect order of everything in the flowers, in the trees, and, you know, in the way the waves come in from a lake or an ocean. It's pretty amazing, actually. And then we have the tower, and the tower is talking about a reality check. So the universe is probably, if the tower has hit, the universe has been trying to alert you to the fact that there's something you really need to take a look at, that there's a reality you're not looking at, and you're living in a false reality at the moment, and it's going to catch up with you. And so this energy, at first, it's like just a whisper, hey, you might want to take a look at that. And then, you know, you don't. So then the frying pan treatment comes out and you get whacked over the head, and the universe is, you know, you're like, ouch, why'd you do that? And the universe is, pay attention, there's something you need to take a look at here. Then the 2x4, yep, you still don't look after it. So then comes the lightning, and the lightning strikes your turret and brings down your whole castle. It's in flames, people are falling out of it. There's two people here, one is in shock and the other one's kind of like, I kind of thought I should take care of that. So it's that kind of energy where you're not paying attention, and there's something happening that's seriously going to be a problem in your life. And the longer you ignore it, the worse it gets. The tower never hits at an opportune moment. The tower always hits at a time when it's like the worst time possible. And it's never comfortable for anyone. But when the tower hits, for some people, like in this case, it's going to bring this passion and all this new energy. And instead of taking you from this disappointment and feeling cold to life to being passionate again. Whereas for some people, it could be, if they're the people that were causing this disappointment and they were out of alignment, it could be like a very challenging experience for them. We do have the 5 of Swords coming in here. And so the 5 of Swords is talking about the energy of, you know, cutthroat. It's like cutthroat energy, basically. It's conflict, and the kind of energy where someone will do anything to win. And this, you know, this person has had to, this could represent your energy, had to fight off 2 people already, and you're saying, hey, I've got some more swords here. If you want, I'll continue to fight here. I am not going to give up. I am not letting you take what's mine. And so that's the kind of energy. But the swords actually represent like a mental, they represent your mental intelligence. They represent your discipline of your mind. And so quite often this card can represent the energy of your, you know, like this being you, and it's not, and this is 3 different versions of you. And that could represent your subconscious mind, which is developed by the time you're about 5 or 6 or 7. And from a baby, like when you're a baby, you are like a sponge, and you just absorb your environment. And the people who are in charge of your care, the thoughts that they have and how they think about things. And so it's like you're like a sponge. And so this is heavily imprinted on you well into your adulthood. So when we get triggered, we tend to go to the subconscious mind first, and it's actually the least reliable for us, because it's not really our thoughts, it's the people who are in charge of our care, more their energy. And maybe that's not the way, it's not that, you know, they thought they knew who you were, but they might not have been that accurate. And then we have the energy of the unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind is basically, from the soul's perspective, a lot of people do feel that they're a human being that has a soul. But in the soul's perspective, from the soul's perspective, you are a soul traveling in a human body, and this body is just your vehicle for getting around. So if the soul doesn't have its needs met, and it's ignored, it starts to become very loud and argue with the subconscious mind. And then the conscious mind is the what you have a handle on. This, it's your conscious, like what you just participated in something, you saw it, you heard it, you remember it, and so it's conscious. You know it's happened. When these three minds are arguing with each other, that's when you get caught in these loops of what if, the woulda, shoulda, couldas of life, instead of having creative solutions to be able to improve the situation. And that's because the swords are double-edged swords, and so you need to use your logic as well as your intuition to have creative solutions. So this energy is talking about a mental conflict, as well as it could be a conflict with actual other people. And it's very cutthroat. It's like serious energy. Like it can cause a lot of issues, make life a little unpleasant. And so here we have your identity and your self-image. So you're disappointed in love, and you're not even really in the mood for opening your heart up. This is very much the Queen of Swords energy. Like, she wasn't always cold like this. She's considered to be the coldest queen of them all, but it's because she's been through a lot, and she just really has made up her mind. She has clarity. Her head is out of the clouds, and she is not willing to repeat the same old shift. No way. And this is talking about abundance and self-worth. So it's good. Like, if you accept this, and yeah, of course, it would be great to have passion for life again and open up your heart and be confident enough that, yes, that love can actually happen. And then we have communication in your early life. So it looks like you had a really fulfilling, like a beautiful childhood. Your parents loved you. Definitely there was a lot of love. Sometimes, even though there's a lot of love, we live in a perfectly imperfect world. So, it doesn't necessarily mean your life was perfect, but definitely there was love there. And then we have, this is your emotional foundation. So this is good. It's like you understand that there's cycles in life, and sometimes things go your way, and then sometimes they don't, and you just have to adjust and move forward. This is saying that you're moving into that more optimistic energy again. Creativity, romance, and children, not so great. This is like, perhaps you have been really busy working on making money, and you haven't put much attention towards the relationships, and that's why, like, you're not emotionally available, possibly, or have time for a lot of it. And maybe now you're deciding, I would like to maybe get in that energy where I might have a real true romance, that I make it a priority. And maybe you're thinking about, starting to have a family, and you're ready to do it. And that's good. It's good to wait until you're ready. But the reality check is, the way you're doing things now, probably that's not going to happen in the way you want it to, because you're going to have to open your heart up. You can't just sit under that tree and expect someone's going to come along and sit on your lap. And then if they did, you might not even accept them anyway. And then this is talking about your daily routine, your habits, how you're living your life, and if your mind is in conflict because what you're doing isn't really satisfying you, but you don't really know how to change it, disciplining your mind through meditation and prayer could be very beneficial for you. And then we have the Strength card. So the Strength card is talking about having the courage to make these changes. It takes a lot of courage to look at your shadow side and do something about it. And that's what this young woman is doing. She's putting her hand into this adult male lion's mouth, which is a very dangerous thing to do. He's allowing it though. He has his tail tucked under, And this is showing that he's being submissive because he understands that she means business here. She wants to reach her infinite potential, and she understands that the only way she can do that is to face any fears that she still has left from childhood and deal with them so that she can move forward. Perhaps something happened when you were a child, or you had your first love or whatever, and it turned out that you felt very hurt, and you just haven't really fully opened your heart up, and it makes it hard, challenging then to have a true romantic relationship that's loving with a partner that opens up to you and you open up to them. And so this is being very brave for taking a look at that and working on it. And then this is talking about, yes, using your intuition, especially in matters of love. Like this is, the intuition is about feeling. So the high priestess, she sits next to the throne of God, and she's highly intuitive. She understands the cycles of the moon and how they work, and how her intuition is so sharp. She's sitting in between two extremes, two pillars here. One is representing Jesus and one is representing the devil. It can't get much different than that. And so a lot of people, this is talking about infinite potential in between, like if people make the right choices. And she's, she's in an energy where she has to get neutral to both sides of this so that she doesn't get all emotional and get all worked up. She needs to quiet her mind so that she can feel, and what choices to make to stay on the side that she wants to. And that's with Jesus. So it's using your intuition is a matter. You have to calm your mind down. If your mind is ruling over you're thinking, like you're overthinking, then it's really challenging to be able to feel with your intuition. And this is in your partnerships, your commitments, and also like marriage position. So this is really talking about that maybe you're approaching love from a very logical way. And you may have noticed what looks good on paper doesn't always turn out to be that great in real life when you put it into action. Yeah, and this is talking about after doing all this work, here's those 6 pentacles that you've already done, and the return on it is kind of dismal here. 1 pentacle, and you're like, what? I put all this work into this, and this is the return I got. Like there's something not right. I must be doing something wrong here. There's something I need to change. Why don't I have more pentacles here? So this is a transition that you want to make in your life now. This is your lifestyle. It's like, okay, I might have to make some changes here if I want to have a better result. And then we have the Temperance card coming in, and the Temperance card is talking about the energy of staying on your destined path. It's very interesting. The cards coming out are very similar in every reading, no matter how much I shuffle. And this energy is because of, I feel like there's a lot of reasons, but we've had this major astrological event where we actually, by the end of April, are going to have 7 different planets in the sign of that had moved into the sign of Aries, and these are big planets, all in one sign. It's just kind of like, it's just not something that normally happens. And then on top of it, the moon is even moving into Aries. So this energy and that's on April 17th. And so when the new moon moves into the sign of Aries, it's actually completed the cycle of the entire zodiac, because Pisces is the last sign and Aries is the first. And so the moon's going to join all these other planets that are moved to Aries. And like the chances of that happening in our lifetime are really, really slim to none. As a matter of fact, probably you won't see this ever again in your life, where all of these planets move into one sign in such a short period of time. And we're talking like big planets like Neptune and Saturn and Jupiter, and we're talking about Venus, and which is about love. And so all of these energies are coming out right now. It's like new new. And then on top of it, on April 25th, Uranus is going to move into Gemini, which is, I'll get into in the next reading more about that towards the end of the month. But like right now, we're having a bit of a lull. We just have the moon moving into Aries and, you know, joining all those other planets. But this is talking about, even when it gets like chaotic like that, we have to make a decision, you know, a choice. Are we going to stay on our destined path, or, you know, our path of glory, which the sun is representing, or are we going to fold, you know? The Temperance card, a lot of people feel this represents the earth angel energy that is spoken about in the Bible, where God has 144,000 angels that he sends down to earth in human form. So it's high vibrational humans that bring a higher vibration into the planet, so that more of a heavenly energy, because it's getting rough down here. And this angel has her foot in the universal waters. She's using alchemy to be able to shift her energy and to pour that into the water, and then she's grounding that energy on earth. And you can see where her foot is touching the earth, these beautiful flowers are already growing. So this is about staying on your path despite how challenging it can be. The energy is very much, this is in your position of higher learning. So yeah, it takes a lot of, you know, inner work to be able to be in a position where you are willing to take a look at that shadow side of yourself and actually do everything in your power to stay on that destined path. And then we have the energy of the, to do that, it's basically you need to move off to calmer shores with God. And like this is what this energy is talking about. The rough water here represents like volatile emotions and commotion and chaos in your life, and wanting to be in a place of calm and to have a calm mind. These are the swords again. This adult and child in the boat can represent your inner child energy needing some healing. And so that is kind of the same energy as here. So that's like healing that something that maybe happened in your childhood that, you know, you might not even remember because it might be held in your subconscious mind. But when you get triggered, you end up doing what your subconscious mind tells you to do. And it's probably the least likely to solve your problem. And so the conveyor here of the boat is, he's using this long pole, and he has to dig very deep into this troubled water to be able to push off and be able to get to the calmer shores. And so that's talking about the effort. You have to dig deep. And this is talking about your reputation and your career and wanting, you know, to have peace of mind, and with peace with other people, not be in conflict. And then we have, and sometimes that conflict, I mean, is coming from outside of you, and it's an external force. So it's, you're not asking anymore, what if I do this? You're asking, what the EF happened? I've been doing all this, and I'm bucking up against this. I don't even know these people. Why are they behaving this way? And generally it's because you probably are making good money, and they can see that you have this ultimate fulfillment coming in your life, and they can see that despite everything they're doing to make life miserable for you, you're still, the wheel of fortune is still turning in your way. And now there's a cup of love coming in on top of the pentacles, you know, this shift in energy. So this is talking about this ultimate fulfillment coming in. This is in your blessings coming in. So it does talk about a new, then this is the night of, this is the first communication we actually have coming in. And the night on the third dimensional, the rest of this is more spiritual. But whatever happens on the spiritual comes down to earth. So it's talking about, okay, now we actually have some action happening. We have the night coming in, and the knights would work for the king and queen and deliver messages far and wide throughout the kingdoms. They each have an element, and this element is the element of love, like it's a cup. And the Knight of Cups is the knight that you read about in the romance novels, you know, a knight in shining armor that comes in and he actually has a strong proposal of love. This can represent someone wanting to ask for your hand in marriage, or if you don't know them that well yet, perhaps just asking you out on a first date, and they really would like to get to know you better, that kind of energy. And that's in the form of blessings coming in. And then we have the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And this is in your more spiritual level. So once you have the truth on a spiritual level and you quiet your mind and you can feel that, it makes life so much easier. And so you have two aces coming in here, which is perfect for the energy coming up. This new moon in Aries is about you know, being innovative and accepting the new energy, and, you know, being assertive with it. Like, be yourself, be authentic. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Actually, that's the best thing that you can do. But you don't have to be like abrasive, you know, you don't have to be aggressive with it. You can just be assertive. And then also, it's a really good time with this particular moon and with all this new energy in Aries to be in a place where you actually can start new projects and be really supported by the universe in doing that. And it's also about being able to have the courage to be able to face all this. It takes courage to be able to make big changes like this, to take that leap of faith. And the best thing you can do is be authentic in that. So you know, don't be afraid to be yourself. It's the best thing you can do, especially with all this AI out there. A lot of people are concerned that the AI is going to take all the jobs away, but if you're authentic in yourself, that's going to be very different, like energy compared to AI, because you can't, you know, AI can't duplicate someone's soul. So yeah, this energy is talking about, you know, really, it's good advice. You've got a lot of new energy coming in. You know, depending on where you are in this process, you could be facing a tower. But in your case, if you've been on your path of glory, you're going to the tower. Could be the best thing that could have ever happened to you. When towers hit, we don't say that though. Oh wow, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to me. At the moment when the tower hits, it's usually at the worst time possible, and it's not fun energy to be in, whether it's good for you in the end or not. But a year later or so, you might look back and say, holy, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Now I'm married and I have a baby and I'm, you know, everything's going my way, that kind of energy. And I let love in, so I'm not just sitting under the tree. I could still be sitting there all disappointed. And so if you're ready to leave the reading, thank you for your time and energy. Please do give it a like and comment. For those of you who want further clarification, I'm going to clarify with my Oracle, Tales from the Vector. And this is something I started in 2007. In 2020, I completed 64th painting. And now I'm working on bringing it out. I've had my cards at seminars, but in the past, when I was teaching seminars and also at psychic fairs, did a lot of readings for people, had a lot of fun with it, but it wasn't complete. So now that it's complete, it has a different vibration, and I'm working on writing the material that goes in the booklet that goes with the deck. So I'm playing with it. I want to play with it because, you know, as you may have noticed, as I said earlier, just because what it works out on paper doesn't mean it actually what's logical actually works as good as you thought it was going to in real life. And so in the description box below, I will put the numbers on these cards in the order they appear in the reading, and they represent the paintings in the order they are in my gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. The information will be in the description box below. It might give you further clarity. So we have the moon coming up here. And so this is talking like this is the number 18, so it could be the day after the new moon. All of a sudden, woohoo! Reckless abandon, W-R-E-C-K. So this is talking about disciplining your mind so that you have freedom to be able to you know, be authentic and be a little bit more on the wild side. You know, make choices that are in alignment with your path. And we have the transition coming in. So this making money energy, there's some sort of transition coming in here with that. I feel like it is like that you've been really focused on that part of your life, and now maybe you want to make it a priority for, you know, to maybe switch up your lifestyle a little bit so that you're more likely to meet someone and have that kind of energy. And it's talking, yes, when the Tower comes in, I feel like when you, so it's kind of interesting, because if you had a partner that that stepped outside the relationship, and you kind of look at it and you realize, I realized like I wasn't really paying that much attention, but you start to realize that, you know, you didn't really open up your heart to the relationship like you could have. And maybe it was because you weren't inspired by it. But when you meet this new person, I feel like you're really going to be, you'll have consciously made some choices to open up to the possibilities, and therefore will be more in a better position to manifest what you want. And this is from the sacral chakra, and this is on the passion, so this could be a very passionate relationship. And you know, like I said, the Towers are usually not that much fun, but the good thing is when they come in, they shake up your world enough and they straighten things out. And then we have judgment coming from from God, from the universe, saying you deserve to have this fulfillment of love in your life. You don't want to be giving up on love. So this is talking about, you know, on the spiritual realm, that this new love coming in is going to be kind of co-conspired between God and the universe, that it's someone that actually is going to upgrade your energy instead of degrading it. Yeah, and there we have it. The sun is God saying it's time for you to shine. It's your turn to have things going your way. And so the Wheel of Fortune is turning to put things back into order for you. That might be a little bit chaotic when it first hits, but this is so that, because the relationship that you were in here, there's one in particular, I feel, where someone stepped out on you, was very degrading to your energy. And it's also this kind of energy where it can feel really embarrassing and shameful, because other people knew and you didn't, and you feel kind of like you're the only one that didn't know. And so this is a learning curve, and that's what Gemini energy is about. You know, it's like kindergarten age, and that's when, you know, when you first go to kindergarten, that's when you really start to realize, wow, you know, other kids are different from me, and their parents, when they come pick them up, are different from my parents. There might be different religions and skin colors and all that kind of energy, and just different ways that people look at things and how different everybody is. And that's when you start to realize, oh, everybody isn't exactly like we are at home. And then this conflict, it's being represented here, clarified by the Devil energy. And so this is talking about this inner conflict, I feel, as well as the outer. See, if you have inner conflict, whether or not you're the type of person that wants to fight, that's the energy you're going to attract, because of the inner conflict is going to attract conflict on the outside. When the Devil comes in, I always like to check and see, you know, what's the next card up, because the Devil energy is very manipulative. You're not going to get the truth from it. So let's see, when we cover this, you know, the Devil always sends a minion in to do his dirty work for him, and he's not going to do it himself. And yeah, let's see what that is. Okay, lack of awareness. Okay, so never underestimate the power of willful ignorance. So this is talking about you know, like that energy I'm talking about with the reality check, where you can avoid a tower, but you just didn't want to see it. And I have come to the conclusion after doing all these readings that love is blind. That saying is a saying for a reason. Sometimes we just do not want to see something bad in the people that we're with. We want them to be who we think they are, not who they really are. And so this lack of awareness on our part, it's almost like willful ignorance, because your intuition was probably telling you there's something not right here, but you didn't want to believe it. And look how this is right on the love and the conflict. There's the tower is here, and then the devil is here on this conflict, and it's about lack of awareness. So lack of awareness, it's a lot of missed opportunities, basically. Because you're sticking with someone that's not treating you correctly, and trying to talk yourself into basically saying, no, what you think you're seeing isn't what you're really seeing. So you're actually doubting yourself and causing conflict within yourself, as well as putting up with the conflict from outside of yourself. And so we have the Hierophant energy. So this is about traditional structure coming in. So this is about, the Hierophant is responsible for bringing justice into the third dimension from the spiritual realm. And this quite often represents a traditional structure and that kind of energy. And I just feel like that's like you recognizing that you have to face your shadow side by doing some sort of spiritual work, because your unconscious mind is probably done. It's like, hey, what about me? I'm the soul, and I need for you to do some spiritual work here. You need to take a look at this shift. I'm tired of dealing with it, because the soul is getting beaten up by this energy when you don't care about loving yourself even. It's more about wanting to be right in some cases. And so this is when the Wheel of Fortune turns, because this is sitting right on when you start using your intuition more, and you start to recognize, hey, I need to find some creative solutions to this problem. And this is when the sun is shining on the Wheel of Fortune here, and it's talking about, that's when you realize, if I want to have the partner that I want to have, I need to be that partner. So I need to at least be that to myself first, so that other people are attracted to that energy instead of this conflict energy. And so it paid off, it really pays off to look at your shadow side and do some inner work. This is foolhardy. So then you're on a journey that you can anticipate. This is a transition from this disappointment energy, always wondering why things aren't working out. Where's all this conflict coming from? And this is talking about, like the Earth Angel, having a good attitude in life. So a good attitude can get you far. You could wish upon a shooting star, and then you could just sit there and wait for everything to fall in your lap. But it's probably not going to happen that way. You're going to have to participate. If you want a strong future, you need to participate in it. So it's saying your attitude is going to mean a lot. And then we have, especially when it comes to your lovers, and this is in your career and reputation. And I feel like a lot of times we don't even recognize it. But if we're putting all our emphasis on our relationship, and it's not as strong, there's a lot of conflict there. That conflict is going to also enter into our work life. And so a lot of times, if you have something going and you break up with someone, or they break up with you, as hard as it is, usually it's pretty good for your career and reputation. If there's a lot of conflict there and there's a lot of arguing, you're not in that mood when you get to work, kind of energy. And your co-workers might notice a huge shift in you and your boss, and then the next thing you know, you're getting promoted. And we have the guiding star energy. This is about being able to use your intuition, that North Star energy, where you're following your destined path, and you're using your intuition along with your logic so that you can make strong choices. And then I feel like the truth coming in, the reason this is such a gift, this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. This energy is talking about the karmic space of attachment. And so that's the energy, right? When we become so attached to something, that, or someone, that we don't want to see anything, and we have willful ignorance here where we miss out on all these opportunities, not just in love but in life, and being in conflict all the time, within and without, just because we want to hang on to someone or something that actually isn't that isn't really doing that much for us, really. It's kind of more like we're just attached to it. And, you know, that energy too can be like when people feel like, hey, what's yours is yours. Or, sorry, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. And like it's an unevenness in the relationship. And so this is kind of you pulling all, like digging deep and pulling all the weight in the relationship. And it causes a lot of inner conflict. And when you have a relationship where it's more even, it's going to be way more pleasant to be in. So this is really good energy, Gemini. This is a lot of really good, advice coming from this reading. I do hope you have enjoyed it. Please do give it a like and a comment if you have, and consider subscribing to my channel. I would be honored if you did so. And also, I will be having another astrological reading coming up for you. That one, I'm going to focus more on the new moon coming up and talk a little bit more about that energy of Uranus coming into Gemini. All right, bye for now.